We're Hey everybody, it is Brandon Foster, next level mindset expert and confidence coach for badass entrepreneurs like you. Today, I am here to celebrate all the incredible, amazing progress that Michelle has made with her business through Born to Slay, the mastermind program that is so close and near and dear to my heart. How are you doing, Michelle?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing great.
She's laughing because I already flubbed my intro already. So we've already hit stop and start again. So this is going to be great. I've already taken the pressure off of Michelle because of that. So why don't you just first, I really love, I love Michelle. I love your story. Like when I met you and I heard everything that you'd already been through before starting this mindset mastermind program to go to co-creative, next level co-creative faith, confidence, reducing stress, worry, and overwhelm, all those things. Can you just share with people where you were in your business and in your life before you started the program?
Oh, gosh. So just to give some background, and we were talking about this, I have been divorced about 20 years now. And so I have been a single mom since my boys were little. And growing up, I came from a very dysfunctional household with abuse. And so there was a lot of chaos and unsafe feelings and just a lot of stuff that comes with that kind of growing up. And then some things that, a lot of people deal with in their childhood, if they're coming from dysfunctionality, there is, feeling the self-worth and just dealing with a lot of insecurities. And then I had some health issues as far as losing my hair at a very young age. So that everything just kind of compounded that, right? And so you're going into adulthood with a whole lot of baggage. And so then getting married and then that ending and then walking through that and thinking, okay, I need to reevaluate how am I going to raise these two little boys, right? Because at the time, I was making probably $19,000 literally with no benefits and thinking, okay, this is, and having 2 cars repossessed at the time, going through bankruptcy, all the things. And it sounds like a life drama, but anyway, so you have all of these things that feel seemingly against you, right, in life. And it's just a struggle. But I always had this hope inside of me and a determination. I'm the kind of person, I'm kind of a fixer. And so if a problem presents itself, I am the first one to start researching and figuring stuff out. So there's a part of you that's, this insecurity and has the doubt, but then the other side is, okay, that determination kind of kicks in. And so it's kind of a constant battle. And, we've talked about that before, where you're just, you have good things in store and you believe them. And it's easy to believe that for other people, but believing it for yourself and just keep, climbing up over the obstacles, it gets tiring. And sometimes it's easier to just kind of sit on the sidelines, but then something brings you back. And so before I started with the travel business, I've been in IT for 20 years. Long story short, I kind of reinvented myself. I didn't have money to go back to school. So I started reading books and just kind of getting educated to have a new career. And so that's been a huge blessing over the years. But I wanted something different as well that brought more enjoyment and that I could enjoy with other people. And I'd been planning trips for a long time. And so during COVID, right when COVID hit, is when I discovered some travel training where I met you, and I was, documenting back, 2-3 years ago, little nuggets. I was like, "Whoa, that's really good." And so during that time, my parents had both died within a year of each other, and that brought some emotional stuff. And then I had a friend pass away last year. So still struggling, but in the midst of that, having the courage to step out, not knowing anything about running my own business. And so jumped into that full force, and not only am I going to do, agent, but I'm going to start my own thing, right? And so with no clue.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. So here I am. But anyway, so when I decided, and that it was a struggle to get me to sign up because I am on the fence a lot. So that's what was leading up to I've been a very positive person, and like I said, very determined, but it's hard for me to pinpoint certain behaviors, like, why do I do certain things, like, self-sabotage, that kind of thing. So when your course came up, I kept feeling pulled, but then I was struggling of, should I do this, and do I have time? And so I was like, no, I'm going to invest in myself and really dig into some stuff deeper. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but that's
No, that was great. I mean, you gave us a really good picture of where you are. So I think, one of the questions that people might want to have a little bit of clarity on is, so what made you decide, what was happening in your business personal life that made you decide to invest in Born to Slay? What was the impetus and the reason to actually do that?
I just think I was tired of, I think you had a quote a while ago, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's basically, you're choosing the life that you have, whether, you're dissatisfied or whatever, you have the power to change it. And that just, it was like, kept bugging me because, the job that I have, it's been really great, but I'm looking, on the latter part of my life to do something different, and what was going to be the catalyst of not being on the fence and trying to get to the inner stuff that was hindering me, and so that was like, you choose the life you have, and I'm like,
So. Yes. So the quote was, I believe the quote was, the life you have is a life you're willing to accept.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
The life you have is a life you're willing to accept. And then I always substitute, and you can substitute anything. The finances you have is the finances you're willing to accept.
Yeah.
The business you have is the business you're willing to accept. The relationships you have is a relationship you're willing to accept. And the reason why is because only you have the power to change it. Like, that I'm a huge proponent of co-creation, God, divine, faith-based. Like, I love all of those things, but God gave us free will.
Yeah.
And it's really about asserting your free will over what you choose to think and what you choose to do, which allows God to actually work the miracles in your life, which is impactful. So that was beautiful that you shared all that with us. Tell everyone what has transformed in your life. Let's start with business first. What has transformed in your business, both your professional business and your travel business, as a result of taking this container, this mastermind?
Obviously it's the mindset that is everything, because I tend to feel overwhelmed and procrastinate, and that was one of my biggest struggles, is avoiding difficult things or seemingly hard things. And so understanding one of the bigger things is understanding how is that going to make me feel if I make that adjustment. You're focusing on the negative instead of what is my business going to look like? How am I going to feel about this after I finish? What is it going to propel me in doing? And so focusing on those things have been amazing for me in starting that. I'm certainly not there, but I hear everything in my head, and it's projected me. So I've had just my change in mindset has brought me, especially in December and January, it was one blessing after another that was coming, and it was amazing. We had like a bus trip that was booked, and then unexpected funds coming in, and you're just like, what? And so just getting clarity and more direction for sure, and understanding letting certain things go enables you to clear that space for new things to come into your business and your personal life. And it's totally true. It's absolutely true.
I love that. And you talked about like the ripple effects and the personal life, which I think is one of the things that I honestly, Michelle, when I created this course, I really believe that God works in mysterious ways, and that universe, like love, is just tremendously available. And that when you change your mindset, it impacts every area of your life. Like I knew that, I believe that, but it has surprised me at the ripple effect that this program has had on kids and significant others and family members. So share with everyone how you taking this course impacted those around you.
Well, I'm always sharing with my sons when I was going through the course, and I was like, you need to come listen to this, or just being able to encourage others the way I have been encouraged in the insights that I was gaining. And it was amazing, because the great thing about you, which I absolutely loved, is your gentle but consistent pushing, right? Because you're doing it in love. And you absolutely, in my opinion, you need somebody that's kind of outside and not afraid to hurt your feelings, right? And so not in a good way though, like speak truth to you. And so because of that, learning key terms that we use in our vocabulary. And so when you start learning that, then you recognize it in other people, and you're like, and you can turn that conversation, instead of focusing on the negative in a particular circumstance, whether it be personal or professional, you immediately start recognizing those red flags, and you can start turning that in a positive way. So I find myself doing that a lot now.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what did you love most? Was there anything that surprised you, or anything that you really loved about the course? Because I always love asking people that question, because what I love is not always what it matters the most that people get out of it. So what did you love the most that you got out of it?
Gosh, there's so many things, and I don't know that I can pinpoint one, because there was so many different nuggets and just light bulb moments. And I really struggle with procrastination and just the feeling of overwhelm. And so you had recommended a book, and I started reading it, and I was like, oh my goodness. And you pinpointing some things that are, the one thing that you have pointed out is, why are you addicted to chaos? That was one of the first things that you had asked me. And I'm like, what a weird thing. I'm not addicted to chaos. And so as we talked through it and stuff, learning your patterns and going through, past pains and hurts or just challenges, and you start to think, oh, wow, that is interesting. And so that has stuck with me the whole time. And so as I'm going through things, I'm thinking to myself, is this a chaotic moment? And how do I shift this? And how do I, so I can't pinpoint one thing. All of it has just been a building block, honestly, getting clarity and understanding the habits that you're doing and how that impacts good and bad, and how you do have the capability of changing that, not only for yourself, but for your family, and people surrounding you. So we've talked about, it's like that pebble effect. And so it just kind of goes out. So when you're learning stuff, everybody else around you will
I love that you talked about addicted to chaos.
Yeah.
And I love that, I pinpointed it, because I do believe that that's one of the huge benefits of having someone from the outside look in your life, is we're not so close to it. And I offer a perspective that you don't see, because I'm standing on the other side of the street. I'm not in it with you, right?
Yes.
So I'm a impartial viewer, if you
Yes.
will. And the other thing is I was actually talking to another one-on-one coaching client, and they were talking about how, as they changed their mindset and how they thought about business, they realized, like, everyone else started to see more negative. And the point I'm trying to make is that the way we think and view the world and view ourselves becomes such a habit, we don't even see it for what it is anymore.
Yes.
Because it's just our default. It's just the way that we be. So, like, if you are in a negative environment, you don't even think people are negative, because that's just the environment that you're in. Like, you don't even see anything that there's anything negative about it, because you're just so used to that viewpoint, that perspective. So if you're around chaos all the time, it's not chaos to you, because this is the way things always are, right?
Exactly.
So I love that you said that. Now, here's what I'm most excited to ask you about today, because we are human beings, and this, investing, and anytime you invest in yourself, it can be scary. And then you add on the financial investment, and it can kind of compound. And when we had our initial deep dive call, is what I call it, where I basically just stir everything up. And you're like, let's do it. And then you just weren't ready.
Yeah.
And then you came back with a little bit of pushing. I did push you a little bit, right? But I want to hear from you, like, what was the fear of doing it, and what shifted to give you the courage to actually do it?
Well, and I don't know. I think some people can relate. It's hard to articulate what that fear was. It's like something, it's like it was just a mental battle. Part of it was, the financial thing, but it went deeper than that, because that was more of an excuse. And I think it was, I mean, really, because we are able to afford what we want to afford, whether it's going on vacations or good food, whatever it is. And so, the reality is it's a deeper thing, and many of us don't realize what it is in us. And part of that whole struggle was, why do I feel like this? Like, I couldn't articulate and feel, why do I am pulled to do it? I should do this. What is holding me back from doing it? And I couldn't really pinpoint the exact fear. And I know that doesn't make sense. And I don't know.
I actually think it makes a lot of sense.
That was the whole driving point of me actually signing up, because I was struggling so much. Is, what is this about? I know I want to get to another level. I know I want to improve things, and I want to get better in my business. I want to get clarity personally. Why do I, it goes back to self-sabotage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, something's going to be really good, but then you sabotage it. And I've done that since our time too. So it's an ongoing thing, but you have the tools to begin to change that. But yeah, that was the whole thing, is, why in the world am I feeling so upset and so anxious about something that is going to be so good. And that was one of the driving forces, is I need to figure out this issue.
Well, I love that you said that it was an excuse.
Yeah,
And I love that you said that, because that's something that's been really resonating on my heart recently, is that an excuse is really giving your power over to something else.
Yeah.
And it gives you an out, but it also robs you of your power, right?
It does.
And when you say, whenever you say I can't, one of the hardest gut punches I've ever heard is when you say I can't, substitute it for I choose not to.
Yeah, yes, I remember. That's a big one.
So when you say I can't afford it, you're choosing not to afford it. You're choosing not to invest in yourself. And what is the cost of not doing it, which often is greater than the financial cost or the time cost, because that's another excuse that people have. And it's so interesting, because I've had people, Michelle, say, well, I don't know, like that financial cost, I just don't feel like it. Then they turn around, like you said, and they spend double that on a vacation. Or I offer a financing option, which is as low as like $125 a month at this point. It's a new financing option, right? And it's like, and then they don't. And it's like, so that really wasn't what it was. It was actually something intrinsically more deeper. So I love that you talked about that. So this is a great question for me to ask. So was it worth it?
Ooh, no, it was totally worth it. It was genuinely totally worth it. And I regret waiting so long, but everybody has to do it in the perfect timing, right? And so that's one of the things we've talked about is, everybody feels stress on the timing of things, but even you need to push yourself, right, and get out of that comfort zone of where you're at if you want to go to the next level in life. And so you have to take that step of faith. I'm a person of faith. And the other thing is, that God is for you, right? And you're consistently speaking life into people, which is desperately needed. And so just the affirmations and the reiterations of it's all good things. Like there's no negative things that come with this, because it improves your life. It improves the life of people around you. It improves your business. And it was totally worth it for me. And like I said, it's not a get fixed quick process. So just know that, but that's the beauty of it. It's if somebody's claiming I can fix you in a month, then that's a lie. But if you're willing, and I have a very chaotic job. So I have all the things, the single mom and the chaotic job and volunteering a lot. And so I tend to have a lot of things on my plate. And that was one of the things I was concerned about, because I struggled, getting things done. But I continue to go back and to listen and to read notes, because it's a constant reminder. It's that's the beauty of it. It's not a one-time deal, but it will change your life for sure. And it's, if you follow the process and be open, right, to having real conversations and understanding from a new perspective, it is amazing. It really has changed a lot. My mindset's completely different than it was a year ago.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart. I know so many people are going to be encouraged by this, especially people who maybe did the deep dive call with me and didn't feel like it was the right time and want to come back. They're going to be encouraged. People who have that fear are going to be encouraged.
Yeah.
And it's going to bring so much encouragement to so many people. And it's encouragement to me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you. And I love you so much, Bill.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And sign up, please do it, because you won't regret it. As soon as you make the decision, the anxiety that comes up into it will pass. As soon as you start the program and you get into it, it'll be like, ooh, okay, that was about nothing. So please do it. Please do it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Boo.
Thank you, Brandon.